Just to show it before, I had always had plans to change this bathroom from the moment we moved in. It's not that it was terrible, it just wasn't me, and I knew I could do so much with this space. And I had logical reasons for wanting to remodel. I mean, just look at this peel and stick floor. There were so many oddities to this bathroom just done wrong and in desperate need of fixing. So, to save my sanity, I decided to just get started. It innocently started small, and I thought I was just going to make some cosmetic changes to make the bathroom feel a little bit more livable. But as I started going, I realized there were a lot more things that I could do to make this a more comfortable bathroom, and I needed to sit down and put a plan in place so that I could actually achieve what I was hoping to. I also have no DIY experience, and this is my first house, and I have no idea what I'm doing. When I'm not at work, I'm home with my kids, which doesn't leave a lot of room to just go off and DIY anything that I feel like it, but I knew this needed to happen. And this is a very central space when you have kids. We were originally going to keep this tile that lined the middle of the entire room, and one day I got home from work and I was just done with it. So I decided it was time to rip it out. And although it went with the color palette that I had chose for the room, I just knew that I didn't love it and wouldn't be happy with it for long. I also wanted to go with something a little more modern and something that I had seen on Pinterest that I just knew would fit perfectly for this space. So I had to get that tile off the wall so that we could go forward with what I was envisioning for this space. So I chose a color for the top half of the room, Radiant Dawn by Sherwin-Williams. I needed something that was going to brighten this space up because I don't know if I've mentioned before, but my entire house is this tan shade. It's actually two tan shades that are very similar to each other, but every room, for the most part, was this tan color. And I've slowly been making progress to try to get rid of as much of it as possible. Not that it was terrible, it just isn't what we need for this space. We already have such a small space, so really brightening it up with like a light cream was exactly what this bathroom needed. And finding the perfect shade of cream is just going to help with the rich green color that I picked for the rest of the room. I've had some people comment that I didn't use painter's tape anywhere in this bathroom, and let me just tell you what I was working with. Whatever I was doing was an improvement. There was paint everywhere from the previous owners. After finishing the cream paint around the top of the bathroom, I decided to start to put some things back up on the wall. I moved the mirror up from where it originally was because I needed a little more space. Speaking of space, he always needed to be near me. Before I got started with the floors, I had to get all this old self-leveling off the floor, which eventually I did get, and if you see over in the back corner, we were able to replace that rotted wood with some new plywood and then had to do our own self-leveling over it. Then I laid down a vapor barrier, and then it was time to get started on the floors. I absolutely failed at trying to do a transition here. I'm still learning how to do content creation, but I'm learning and I want to document this process. So I filmed this video with all the tips and tricks that I learned while doing the floors and everything that went into what I thought was going to be a pretty simple job. And my mic wasn't even on as I was recording all this. So literally minutes and minutes of content that I just wasn't even recording. So essentially, I went into detail about everything that I had done over that weekend to get the floor ready, laid down, and then putting everything back in place so that we could get started on the design. From here, we actually made some decisions to go in a different direction, which I found happened quite often throughout the project. I thought I knew what I wanted, and then as we slowly got into it, I kind of pivoted and went in a different direction. And I knew that I'd probably change my mind along the way, but I didn't realize how many times I was actually going to deviate from what I originally thought we were going to do. So here's me adding a scallop trim around the middle of the room to create a little bit more whimsical charm to the whole bathroom. I saw this idea on Pinterest and I was immediately sold and knew this was the direction we were going to go.